A warm welcome to each one of you that has taken their time to tune in on today's episode in this channel. This is the Mental Health 101 channel, and I am your presenter, Moses Omindo. I am a mental health consultant, mental health advocate, self-published author, blogger, and podcaster. And before I proceed, I'd just like to ask you to show some love by liking this channel and support us by subscribing to this channel so that we can be able to produce more of such videos. This is a mental health 101 channel, and the objective of this channel is to be able to disseminate information with regards to mental health to help boost or improve our mental health for the sake of ourselves and for the sake of those around us. So basically, the intent here is to share information so that we can be aware and we can take the necessary steps necessary to improve our mental health. And so today's episode is on psychosexual stages of development, borrowed from Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis theory. As we all know, Sigmund Freud is referred to as the father of psychology, primarily because most of these theories that we use in the practice of psychology have been borrowed from the psychoanalysis model. And for this very reason, Sigmund Freud is a revered figure in the field of psychology. And so today we are going to be looking at the psychosexual stages of development, which is one of the components or concepts within the psychoanalysis theory. And without further ado, just jump right in so that we can get to learn what is the psychosexual stages of development and its relevance in our lives or in today's world. So let's jump right in. So what is the psychosexual stages of development? Well, psychosexual stages of development are developmental stages in early years of an individual's life that ultimately influence or develop their personality. According to Freud, there are 5 psychosexual stages of development, with each stage marked by erogenous zones which pleasure-seeking energies of the id tend to focus on. Within psychoanalysis, the human personality is made up of 3 components: the id, the ego, and the superego. Well, this is a topic for another day. I'd just like to highlight it and bring it up because if you stay in this channel in our subsequent videos, I'll bring a video where I'll break down these 3 concepts, or rather these 3 distinctions of the human personality, so that we get to have more knowledge and more awareness with regards to that. So just keep tuned in, keep yourself tuned in this in the subsequent episodes, and for sure I'll find one of the videos where I'll be able to break this down. Anyway, on psychosexual stages of development, as we continue, is that each psychosexual stage has an inherent conflict that must be resolved for the individual to develop a healthy personality. Failure to resolve these conflicts will likely lead to fixations or problems in the individual's life. A good example would be failure to resolve conflicts relating to oral stimulation in the first year of the individual's life, which then could lead to fixation of oral nature like gluttony, talking too much, and so on. The following is a breakdown of the 5 stages of development. The first stage in the psychosexual stage of development is the oral stage. which ranges between birth to 18 months. Well, during the oral stage, the erogenous zones or the primary source of pleasure for the individual is the mouth. We all know that individuals at this stage are referred to as infants, and so they tend to draw pleasure or seek gratification via their mouth. Uh, the infant derives pleasure from oral activities like thumb sucking, breastfeeding, and putting anything they can lay their hands on in the mouth. It's uh, it's common to see children under the age of 18 months suckling their thumbs or attempting to fit anything they can lay their hands on in the mouth. And because the child is also totally dependent on the caregivers during this age, it is also the child also develops a sense of trust and comfort through this oral stimulation rather. Uh, frustration from oral stimulation or overindulgence in oral stimulation leads to a fixation in this stage. For instance, a child who is overfed or underfed in this stage is likely to develop a fixation in their adult years, which could manifest as overdependence on others, smoking, drinking, gluttony, talkative, gossip, and so on. The oral stage is followed by the anal stage. Excuse the typo there. The anal stage. The anal stage ranges from 18 months to 3 years. During the anal stage, the erogenous zone is on the bowel and bladder activities. The child derives pleasure from bowel and the bladder movements, like, for instance, defecation. To successfully navigate through this stage, the child needs to learn to control bowel and bladder, which brings into play the need for toilet training. Um, Sigmund Freud believed that proper toilet training at this stage served as a basis for competent, productive, and creative adults. Lack of proper training, however, leads to either anal expulsive personality, which manifests itself as a disorganized, messy, wasteful, impulsive, aggressive, or destructive individuals. Um, or it could lead to anal retentive personality, which is also known as anal retention, which could manifest as a perfectionist, stringent, orderly, rigid, or obsessive individual. Um, The next stage is the phallic stage, which ranges from 3 to 6 years. And in this stage, the erogenous zone is the genitals. Uh, Children in this stage also begin to discover the distinctive difference between a male and a female. This is that age where a child would tend to ask you questions like, where do children come from? You know, they develop that kind of curiosity and 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 thought process. During this stage, again, boys develop intimate feelings towards their mothers, a concept referred to as the Oedipus complex. Girls, on the other hand, also develop intimate feelings towards their fathers, a concept referred to as Electra complex rather. Failure to successfully navigate through this stage could lead to gender identity issues, difficulty in forming relationships, and sexual dysfunctionality. So it is important to to help children, rather, if you have the knowledge and know-how, to help children navigate through these stages, as you have already seen. The next stage is the latent stage, which ages, rather the range of ages between the 6 years to 12 years. The erogenous zone of the latent stage is repressed sexual feelings. The repressed sexual feelings are sublimated or channeled by the child into other areas, such as social interactions or intellectual pursuits. Um, This stage is important in the development of social and communication skills and self-confidence. If a child falls within these age ranges and they fail to navigate through this stage, then the subsequent consequences, fixation, which could manifest as immaturity in their mannerisms and inability to form fulfilling, meaningful relationships as adults, right? If the child fails to successfully navigate through this stage, then the subsequent consequence is fixation, which could manifest as immaturity in their mannerisms and inability to form fulfilling, meaningful relationships as adults. I hope we are together so far. And by the way, if you have any questions, just drop it in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to try to address it as best as I can. The last and final stage of the psychosexual stages of development is the genital stage, which ranges from 12 to 18 years. In this stage, the erogenous zone is active sexual interest. Remember, we said during the latent stage that the individual has repressed sexual feelings, which then they channel to other areas like intellectual pursuits or social interactions. Now, there's repressed sexual feelings in the phallic stage, rather in the latent stage, is activated in the genital stage, and the individual develops strong sexual interest for the opposite sex. Whereas in earlier stages, the focus was on personal needs, the genital stage triggers the individuals to not only develop interest in themselves, but develop interest outwards for the sake or on the welfare of other people. The goal of this stage basically is to establish balance between all aspects of life, be it academia, be it sports, be it entertainment, be it personal personal stuff. If the individual does not successfully maneuver past this stage, then they tend to develop difficulties in forming healthy relationships. They'd be a high likelihood of developing sexual dysfunction and a range of other emotional problems. As you all know, this is a stage where individuals tend to struggle with their sense of identity, with the sense of their sexual identity, with the sense of their place in the world, and with so many other questions. This is a very sensitive age in the human psyche. And so this brings us to an end of our presentation of the psychosexual stages of development. I hope you learned something as I went through. I hope I was not going too fast for you. And I hope whatever sort of knowledge or information that I presented here today would help for you to either understand why your personality is the way it is, where you are fixated, and probably in subsequent episodes, I might, I'd definitely bring some of the interventions and ways in which you can address some of these fixations. But this is not to say that the recommendations or the interventions that I'll break down here are enough. If you feel like you have a fixation that is stopping you from effectively living your life, then my advice to you would be to seek the help of a professional who are equipped to help you address these issues and navigate through these issues. Well, that brings us to the end. I thank you all for staying with me, and I hope to catch you on our next videos. Just to remind you once more to click the like button, the subscribe button, as a way of supporting this channel and helping it grow. Thank you all, and stay blessed. Thank you.